We are here today to announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about why is crypto not coming out of the slump? Why are we sitting at the same levels for ages? And what is going to happen next? Is the bull run over? Yada yada, same questions, right? But let's address them. Also, we are going to talk a little bit about the Comey and Vivi, and we have XRP news today. Plus, I didn't write it in the title, but we also have some VeChain update. So it's going to be good, so make sure to stay all the way through. So, good morning to each and every one of you. I think something went wrong with the hour or with the time listing of this live stream this morning, but I think the other people will get the message very soon. I see Patrick Bultman here. Let's hope it will finally go. Yes, I don't think that it will take much more or much longer, but let's take a look at crypto here at this point, or at Bitcoin as the leading factor. Everything else doesn't really matter. Bitcoin has to go first, and people are looking at this and they're like, oh my god, everything is red, top formation is happening and so on. But the reality is a little bit different. I mean, we are literally, since opening this month, we have been having swings, which are the two wicks. But on the other side, we are also at the same level as we opened it 21 days ago. If we are looking at the weekly candles, we see that we have a clear bounce on this level, a bi-weekly bounce, bringing us back to this middle after having this crash. So the weekly tells us a little bit better story than the monthly that shows us an indecision candle, right? Indecision candle in this case, I wouldn't say so. I would say there was a clear decision to sell off, and now there is a clear bounce. And the question is, when will this bounce be followed up by more volume? This is what we need to see. And for that, I think a couple of things in the economy and also fundamentals have to solve, right? And we already saw global liquidity going up, year-over-year change increasing. So the macro leading indicators, I would say, they are positive for a bounce. Now, what's the news saying though, right? Well, we have a couple of things. So let's have a good Freaky Friday, right? It's Friday, my dudes. I didn't even realize it. I was first checking which day we really have. But look at this. The IMF, so the International Monetary Fund, board has warned Trump not to add any more Bitcoin to America's Bitcoin strategic reserve, citing volatility and stability risk to U.S. economy. This is very interesting, right? Because as far as I know, countries are still deciding on their own, right? What they do and which reserves they put. And the funny thing is, why exactly would the Bitcoin strategic reserve, if you add to it, create volatility and stability risks to the US economy, but adding gold to the gold reserve does not? That is one of the questions that we would have to answer here. So well, we can't answer it right now, but we will see what happens. And actually, it's a good thing that this is happening right now, that they are saying this, because I'm fairly sure that then probably the Trump administration will do the opposite. Next up is bull run, right? Are we in a bull run? Are we not in a bull run? So if we're putting measures here on previous top, declining resistance, and we do that for every cycle piece or 4-year cycle that we have, then nothing has changed over these cycles with regards to breakout, maybe a correction after breakout, and then a continuation mega run up, right? So we have it here, we have it right now here. It looks like this in 2017. I still believe that we are mimicking 2017, just that we somehow have overshot here before, and this is the real correction, right? So this is this basically, and then we would come up for our last leg up, our last pump, our last run, right? Guys, by the way, make sure to smash up the like button if you enjoy this. We have a little bit of a slow start here with the stream, which is probably because I just named it Crypto Morning Coffee. But let's see. Okay, and I think what we should not do, and what cannot happen, is that we forget the broader picture here, which is basically that there is 128 trillion in global money right now sitting around and waiting to flow into other assets, right? Or it will absolutely get debased by the money printing that is coming. So some way or form, this has to go into something that yields returns, right? So we have $44 trillion of Chinese yuan, $20 trillion of the US dollar, then in dollar measures 17 trillion euros, 4 trillion British pounds, 8.5 trillion Japanese yen, and 13.8 trillion of other currencies. So we also see that the top countries here, plus the Eurozone, obviously as a get together of countries, right? They are making up a big fat chunk of 108 trillion of fiat money, and then there's another 22 trillion in gold. And the question is, how much gold over the next days will shift into Bitcoin, right? Where Bitcoin is sitting at 1.7 trillion. So the question is, can Bitcoin still, from where we are or where we are sitting right now, go 100x? I would say yes, it can easily, because also you will see that with every year these trillions are just increasing, but not by magic, but by money printing, right? So there will be overflow, and even if there's only a small percentage flowing, Bitcoin will just double in price, right? So I think that is something we cannot forget. And then also the fundamentals, nothing, whether there's adding to the Bitcoin reserve right now or in 4 years or in 8 years, nothing changes the fundamentals of Bitcoin. Very, very important, right? So that is something that we need to keep in mind when we're looking at, oh my God, Bitcoin is only at 84,000. And some of you, maybe not of you, but some people here in this market have definitely bought up here and are now down 20% on their investment, and it's very likely new people. So if you're one of these, then welcome to the channel, and make sure to stay around and to just take your investment and see what happens, right? But I think that it's not too much longer until we are going to rise up here, okay? yesterday I made a video, but probably not everyone saw it. So, and I really liked what was said. So I will show it once again here on live stream. Which is Bo Hines, Executive Director of the President's Council of Advisors of Digital Assets, says we want as much Bitcoin as we get, right? So, but the overall explanation I like very much. So let's take a second and watch this once again.
The president's promises that he made on the campaign trail. The president was adamant about creating the SBR. We wanted to make sure that we did it right in a way that respected Bitcoin for being so unique, and also gave credence to innovation in other spaces of the digital asset world. So, for us here, we look at Bitcoin, it's not a security, it's a commodity. It has intrinsic stored value that's traditionally accepted. It has, as David likes to describe, the immaculate conception. There's no issuer. And that's why, as you saw in the executive order, we compared this to digital gold. It's something that's imperative for the United States to have, retain, continue to build on. And I think that's worth pointing out that the way that this is constructed, we talked about ways of acquiring more Bitcoin in budget-neutral ways that won't cost the taxpayer a dime. And what I like to say about this president, I think it's high time that our president started accumulating assets for the American people, which is what President Trump is doing, rather than taking it away. And I think that's one thing that we really wanted to make clear in this executive order. And we're looking forward to working with our partners at Treasury and the Secretary of Commerce in order to find those budget-neutral ways in which we can acquire more. I've been asked all the time, it's like, how much do you want? And I said, well, that's like asking a country, how much gold do you want, right? I mean, as much as we can get.
Okay, so this is very interesting, of course, in my opinion, because for last sentence, as much as we can get, that's what they want, but we also saw the limitation. It's a budget neutral way, so you cannot take away from the citizen to put it into a reserve. This would not be much appreciated, so they don't want to take away from the taxpayer, also because the Doge currently is going after everything and is basically trying to carve out some billions for the taxpayer. So that is that. I think that's really good. The question is, what exactly is a neutral, like a budget neutral way of increasing that? Maybe if they seize money and they use that money to buy it, or seize any assets and just convert these assets into Bitcoin and put that into a reserve, or they are just going after a couple of criminals and seize Bitcoins. If they can, and if they seize Bitcoin, then they add those Bitcoin to the strategic reserve. That would be a budget neutral way probably, but it would be also a very slow and uncontrollable way. Like sometimes you would seize much and sometimes you would seize not so much. So how do you have a steady and stable increase of the reserve? This needs to be answered in the future, I guess. So hey guys, how are you doing? Hey Domvu, good to see you. Energy, welcome to the stream. I know that Energy is an XRP holder, so we should talk about XRP now. So very important for people that hold XRP is the SEC is dropping the Ripple case as the XRP ETF approval odds are rising, right? So I think we have followed this case against, so the SEC case against XRP for years on this channel. I even made a video where back then when I made videos in the field and in the woods. You can go back, it's at least 3 years old, where I was, this was prior to Bitcoin ETFs and Ethereum ETFs and something like that, where I made a video about why I think that the SEC has no case against Bitcoin Ethereum and why I think they will not they will also lose the case against XRP, where I was talking about the Hinman speech and so on. Some of you that are veterans on this channel remember that. But now it's coming to an end. That means we finally don't have to talk about it anymore. Now the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, has officially ended the year-long lawsuit. The news initially sent XRP 10% plus, but obviously we know that the market is fueled by other things long-term than whether there are good news or not. Doesn't matter. We also see it in the economy. You can have a small pump, but in the end, only one thing matters. As you know, global liquidity has to go up. But for XRP, we see also growing investor confidence following this legal battle ending. And that is, I'd say that is important. So where's the, oh, there we go. Because there is 400% more daily active addresses than recorded in February. Okay, so that could point in two directions. First of all, more addresses accumulating XRP that did not have XRP before. And then also, maybe it has to do with the ETF, right? With some kind of ETF preparation in a larger wallet network and so on. But overall, 400% more daily active addresses than recorded in February. I think there are a lot of buyers here for XRP. Hey, Troy, what's going on? Good to see you as well. So, hello, friends. Yeah. And then be very careful, because also there's an XRP-friendly crypto exchange that has probably been hacked and posting fake news about Swift, a social media post that is bit true. It's basically a bit untrue now, a little bit untrue. But they shared fake news about XRP and Swift. It's not true. So if you saw this as well, making the XRP pack complete here, yeah, that is not good. So let's check out XRP quickly on a chart. Finding a chart for me here. XRP USDT. Let's check it out quickly. Okay, so that is one of the charts where we charted a long time ago. It's funny because I never thought when we charted this here, I never thought that this will really work or play out like multi-year symmetrical triangle, right? And then breakout, but it did. And the crazy thing is that if you look at XRP, it pumped all the way up and it found its support on top of the previous high, right? So maybe we find a longer chart. Actually, that's not longer. Maybe the Kraken. Yeah, here also, right? Here, even with the breakout target. And yeah, it's kind of this is the support, right? And it has nailed it to the T. I mean, this is crazy. So what we want to see, obviously, is that this is only a wave 1 push and that XRP is now going into a wave 3, right? Boom, right? That this, if this was a 5-wave count, that something like this happens. Of course, massive amounts of liquidity, massive amounts of money are necessary for this to happen, but it can happen. Obviously, it can happen. But imagine if XRP, something like Troy says, for example, would go completely ballistic and let's say go like 10, 20x. Then imagine what happens to smaller altcoins that have good fundamentals, good use case, a good story, right? It would be absolutely nuts. One of those altcoins is VeChain, right? So here are some VeChain news. VeChain official complying now with EU's MiCA framework after successful ESMA registration. So they now have the first mover advantage in this EU regulation. They work a lot with consulting houses, with governmental bodies and so on. So they have to have this. The Renaissance update of VeChain is also planned for July 2025, so probably perfectly timed, as said here. And the X2Earn ecosystem is now backed by regulatory certainty, which is also really good. So everything is coming together for VeChain to have another major pump, right? So this counts for VET and also for VTHO, which is the gas token, because this got confirmed by ESMA for both white papers, as we can read here in this article. So very, very, very bullish news here for VeChain. Let's post this also out. Bullish for VeChain. Let's spread the word. There you go. And then probably in 5 minutes I will have like 50 comments like, why is this bullish? VeChain is down. VeChain is only 2 cents. Yeah. And that's true. That's true. 1 second. That is, let's pull up VeChain as well. VET USDT. There we go. Boop. Okay, so that definitely didn't happen, what we wanted, right? So we are now back to this support, to this multi-year support for another round, and we are bouncing here once again. But I still believe that the targets are correct, right? But we do not behave as in the last bull run. That is a fact. Because here, you see, right, last bull run, we are coming up, we're retesting once, and then boom, right, explosion initiated. Here, it's a little bit different, right? We came above this support, 1, we bounced 2, 3, so we really need to blast off now with a slight uptrend that is right now, okay? So we will see how this goes and continues, but also, it depends on the broader market. If Bitcoin moves, everything here, everything will also move, will be green. I think we have a lot of sellers in this range from the previous cycle. You see, a lot of buyers are probably in this zone, yeah, from the last cycle. So the break even is also in this zone to take profit, right? So this is becoming a noisy area. And this is happening in many last cycle altcoins at the moment. Question is, what happens if you rise above, right? What happens if these sellers are out, coming out, and then VeChain goes to an explosion? I'm still looking at this level of 20 cents here. For us, that would be a rough 10x, 8 to 10x from here, which is not the greatest return, but hey, it's also a safer play than the super small coins, right? So that for VeChain. Now let's look at the broader crypto market. Here in general, I'm completely unable to use this Pi coin of mine, by the way. Gaming involved, what's going on? Good to see you. Smash up the like button. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, please smash up the like button. So today we're a little bit low, except Kava, which is going up, and some coins that are 1 to 2%. On the weekly, we have recovered. We see that Pancake Swap, for example, is with 47% here. Ton is pumping on 33%. Nice recovery there. 10% Render, almost 20% Atom, which is surprising because the tokenomics of Atom are not that great. But as I said before, sometimes it just doesn't matter. Also VeChain, 8.8% recovery. We see it back here, right? So how across the board, wow, there is one range, it's probably because of 1 or 2 coins, 600 to 700, it's a 50% increase. Let's see. Yep, there we go. One coin, TUT, which is tutorial, is up 4,500%, which is absolutely nuts, lifting the entire 100 coins in this bracket up to 50% average. There's also Kekios, which is super funny. Kekios Maximus. So meme coins are still a thing. Yeah, we also see some valid coins here like GFAL. But overall, we are in the top 500 more up like 5 to 7%. Let's see the top 100 to 200. We have Layer 0 pumping 72%, Fartcoin 43%, which is absolutely crazy. Auction, Bounce, it's called Bounce. Actually, I have no idea what half of these are doing. It's absolutely crazy because we have now so many new coins. We have Beam here, which is not in the top 100 anymore. We have Radium, which I think could be a really good one for the next leg up if memes pump again, because they're all the memes that are trading on Radium, right, on Solana. Yeah, we have everything across the board. Baby Doge. check out Debt Relief Bot. Let's see if it's here. Debt Relief Bot. There we go. 847. So let's check this out. What's the ticker though? Debt Relief DRB. Oh, there we go. There it is. Got it. Debt Relief Bot. Let's open the trading view chart here. Okay, that doesn't work. CoinEx. Oh, there we go. I didn't see it. That does work. Yes, but it's out just now, I think. So let's put it on a daily. Okay. I mean, there's not much chart to work with, right? So let's put it on a 4 hourly to see if we can deduct anything. But I'd say right now it's only, hey, let's see it unfold. What does it do though? First, a icon of grok in base. Oh, okay, that's nice. Base. Okay, that sounds good. What's the M cap? 16 million market cap. That sounds pretty good. It's AI play according to you. So, and yeah, it's available on Bitmart and BingX. Okay, so not many exchanges. Maybe that could be a good one, but it's very, very risky, of course. But nice that you let us know here, Sven. Really, really like this pick already, without doing any more research or something like that. I like how Vivi is finally getting marks of the checklist, MCP, affiliate program, OMI to NFT, etc. But everyone just wants a smooth running app more than anything. I agree with you. I fully agree with you. I'm also not using the app so much because it's just sometimes loading like 30 seconds or so to load a page, and I just don't want that, right? So, for example, if you play Pokemon TCG, no matter where you go, you don't have these loading times, right? I wouldn't play Pokemon TCG if I had these loading times. I think nothing is more important than getting this loading time out of the way, and then people will come back to use the app, right? And all this like because we will talk about this here as well, right? Or we can talk about this now. So Vivi has announced this affiliate program where you can where content creators can earn some money or some gems with this program. But it's difficult because people will sign up, but you want to have people to stay and use it. And if the app is slow, then they won't stay. I can guarantee that already, right? So this is very important, and I'm preaching it also since months, and I've posted about it and tagged Ben, so they are. They are aware with and without me, but for sure we have been saying this since a long time, right? When BTC get all-time high in May, maybe, or we get a sell in May, go away. I don't know. I mean, we could still rally the whole April and then correct again. So we don't know yet. How is your comics going, PH? I didn't buy any more comics just because the app is so slow, right? So that is like I want to, but I'm not willing to surf comics and secret rares and I want to use it on the phone, by the way, because when I'm going somewhere, let's say I'm going on a business trip, I'm flying somewhere, I could easily on the airport spend 1 or 2 hours in the Vivi app browsing the market looking for cheap secret rares. I would have fun in that, but not with this app. Not with this slow app. And the app before they did the app update actually was smoother than this. Like, didn't load as much, right? Why? What is happening? Like, what did they do? Dan says, sorry, I think this channel is shifting a bit more away from Vivi content, and I don't blame you. This is, I had to, because it was getting frustrating to talk about Vivi and waiting on Vivi and Omi to do anything. I would still maintain the Vivi and Ecomi section, and I will increase it, or I will produce separate content for that, no problem. But the most essential things for me are, first, there's no comeback of VV collectibles if the global side doesn't move. The second thing is there's no comeback for VV, in my opinion, if the app doesn't run smooth. It's just what it is. It's like the essential part, what keeps people using it 1 minute versus 12 hours a day. And that's what I want. Everyone, like the 100,000 people using it 12 hours a day is way better, right? No matter how much they want us to accept the app as it is, we just won't. I'm playing with the app right now. The market page is just brutal. Loading time, exactly. I can't imagine that it's such a difficult fix, right? And if it is, then you shouldn't have released this in the first place. Then they should better go and roll back to the previous app, because the previous app didn't have these much loading times. Or they have to, for now, why can't they already have a paging system, right? Where you only have what you see on the screen is loaded, and then if you scroll, it loads more, right? They don't have to load the entire market. So what's taking so long? It's just a couple of pictures, right? And then you have loading again when you're jumping into the collectible. So they don't really load everything at once, right? I don't know what it is. Or they have to put out a tutorial how to make it faster. I don't know, but I don't understand. Or they have to go back to the mechanism that they used in the old app. I remember it was fairly smooth before, when you could just scroll. Sometimes the app crashed. Okay, it doesn't matter as much, right? I'd rather prefer that after 15 pages the app crashes than that I don't even get to page 3 because it's loading too much, right? So that sucks. Yeah, I fully agree with you, and Warriors King agrees with us. So unfortunately it is what it is. I hope they said Ben said that the app loading time is a priority for him. So I hope that they will come up with a good fix soon. And then I will also go back to use it more. And when I use it more, I will talk about it more. Let's talk about Ecomi. If we're already at frustrating stuff. One thing is good. I talked about it many times, and that is this. We're here in the weekly, and this is the volume. This is very much big fat volume, okay? So this is good volume. We want to have this good volume to sustain, and at some point, you see this here in this wedge. Ecomi tries to frequently pump up and break out, but always gets sold into. This is people exiting this coin at a little bit higher levels, right? This is also traders locking in profit. Right now we're red, hence there's more sell volume than buy volume, but the volume is high. That is already good, right? So we are just waiting for the next one to maybe be green or so on a monthly basis. We are, as we many times said, waiting for whales to make their move, and here we are, right? So let's see how this turns out. But is there more downside? Yes, of course. There's always more downside, right? Technically, there's so much more downside. You can always find downside. But at some point, when the market comes back, the downside will probably at some point just over, right? And then it's like every TA guy will be like, oh, it's over. The bottom is in. Higher high on a macro, higher low, right? Zoomed out. We didn't have that. We are just dropping. And the question is, when will we stop dropping, right? When will this wedge pattern end, right? So that is it. But not much more news for the Ecomi side, right? So no sense to talk about it. On the monthly, Ecomi just is on the oversold all the time. Like since the beginning of RSI, we're oversold. And the question is, well, will we come at some point into a different momentum, right? Momentum shift, not really happening. We have a bear cross here on the TSI and so on. On the stochastic RSI. So we will see. We have no TSI on the monthly. We will see how it turns out for Ecomi, but I think at some point there will be the bottom as for all different altcoins here. The sales into every little pump is relentless. Yeah, at some point it will just stop, right? At some point it will just stop, and then we will see what happens, right? I mean, everyone who sells wants ultimately to send on higher prices. So if there's at some point a signal that prices will go higher, also these people will stop and wait for a higher level to sell into, right? And then you will encounter major resistance there. I believe that we will encounter major resistance here, where these whales were, if and when we turn around, let's put it that way. But for today, that's the Friday, guys. You see that I also come up with some videos when I'm not able to do the crypto morning coffee in the morning, right? I hope you guys understand. I hope you guys and rare hodlers keep supporting me either way, and make sure to smash up the like button right now, subscribe to the channel, notifications on, and wherever you are on the world, have a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon, and I catch you in the next video or live stream. Have a good one, and bye.